upon the number you're seeing there, 0721-440-380. You are looking for a house to rent in Diani, Kwale County, Kunda. You're looking for a house to rent for an apartment. You can call upon our numbers, or you want to advertise your houses around. Maybe you have a land plot that you want to sell. Call upon our numbers and we shall schedule a viewing moment together with you. Kila siku tazama TMTV as we bring it down to your doorsteps. Kwale tunatazama TMTV.
Let's give them another round of applause, please. Your Excellency, sir, the TSC Choir singing the place of patriotism and unity of purpose towards development in the country. Your Excellency, sir, I wish at this juncture to invite the Chief of Staff in your office of the Deputy President, Madam Wanjiku Wakogi, to lead us in the next step.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Lady Justice Martha Koome, our Attorney General, Cabinet Secretary for Education who is present, chairpersons and members of all constitutional commissions, the leadership of the independent offices represented here today, our chairperson of the Council of Governors, Honorable Anne Waiguru, representative of the County Government of Nakuru, who is present with us here today. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome you to join us today during this consultative forum, bringing together constitutional commissions and independent offices, together with national government, to deliberate on matters of mandate, to deliberate on matters of cooperation, and to deliberate on a framework for sustainable engagement into the future. Your Excellency, today is the fulfillment of a promise that you made to our constitutional commissions and independent offices last year, that we would converge in a rich cooperation. I think, Your Excellency, I can deliver the message from all that we are thrilled that we have finally reached this day, and that, as you have always guided us, consultations and conversations is the best platform from which we are able to make significant progress in matters between us and our various concerns. Your Excellency, the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 has placed the mandate of coordinating constitutional commissions and independent offices under your office. And this is a significant anchor because it places and elevates the responsibilities, the engagements, the concerns, and the actions of our constitutional commissions and independent offices at the highest office. And we are grateful for His Excellency the President's wisdom in that placement, because we are now seeing significant traction in how we are making movements in resolving concerns in the various sectors, and also creating a platform that guides us on our future engagement. Our structure today, as you can see, Your Excellency, has a lot of conversations around the requirements that many of our constitutional commissions and independent offices have, the concerns that they often face, and also a platform that will discuss some of the questions of an interdependence that will plague us as we move in the delivery of our mandates. We trust, Your Excellency, that this meeting will allow us in the consultative forum, in the space and freedom of a retreat, to be open, to be interactive, and to find the interests of Kenyans. We have, Your Excellency, the constitutional commissions as outlined in the Constitution, as well as additional agencies who have joined this platform and who continue to advocate the matters of concern as are prescribed in the Constitution. We look forward to a fruitful engagement as we undertake these deliberations in the coming 2 days. Thank you, Your Excellency. I think in that ado, I will request Rose to invite and carry through to have our representative from the County Government of Nakuru speaking on behalf of our host county to just welcome us, and also then thereafter welcome the Governor. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Your Excellency, sir, our Chief Justice, our Attorney General, Chair, COG, and all the guests present with us this afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon once more. Mine is very simple. To Your Excellency, sir, to welcome you to Nakuru County. A warm welcome from Your Excellency, Governor Susan Kihiga. Feel free when you are here. Nakuru County is a place where we will enjoy. The atmosphere is very good. You are free to move over to see some of the areas during your free time. Lake Resort. We have so many attractive tourist centers around here. So, warmly welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency Deputy Governor Nakuru County, David Connors, for your kind welcome, Your Excellency, sir. I wish this juncture to invite the National Lands Commission Chairperson, who is also the overall chairperson of the Constitutional Commissions and Independent Bodies, Honorable Gershom Utachu. Welcome, Chairperson.
Your Excellency, Honorable the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, and also present here in her capacity as the Chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, the Honorable Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, Honorable C.S. Mashogu, Her Excellency Anne Mumbi Waiguru, Chairperson, the Council of Governors, and the Honorable Deputy Governor of this county of Nakuru, Chairpersons, Vice Chairpersons, Commissioners, CEOs of Constitutional Commissions and Independent Officers, senior government officials present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be part of this important retreat, being a consultative session between the executive and constitutional commissions and independent officers, in short, CIOs. I take this opportunity on behalf of the CCIOs to thank His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, for his commitment and dedication in making this retreat a reality. This indeed is a first retreat of its kind between the CCIOs and the executive. This underscores commitment by the executive to not only ensure the CCIOs succeed in their respective mandates, but also as to the national development agenda. Notably, His Excellency the President, in his Executive Order Number 1 of 2023, specifically appointed the Office of the Deputy President to liaise with CCIOs in matters that require intervention by the national government, including budgets, policy formulation, and implementation of their recommendations. The retreat was conceived during the first consultative meeting with His Excellency the Deputy President on 21st June 2023, following upon an engagement with His Excellency the President in January of 2023, an avenue to foster dialogue between the CCIOs and the executive. Once again, Your Excellency, on behalf of the CCIOs, we appreciate this gesture and your leadership. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the CCIOs Forum, in which I'm privileged to be chair, was established in 2012 by the chairpersons of the Constitutional Commissions and holders of independent offices. The forum is a platform for collaboration and engagement among the institutions in pursuit of protection of the sovereignty of the people of Kenya, promoting observance of democratic values and principles, and promoting constitutionalism. The leadership of the forum of the chairpersons was initially elected annually on a rotational basis before the forum adopted a biannual rotational leadership. I take this opportunity to give special recognition to the founders of this forum, which were the inaugural chairs in order of assumption of office. Honorable Otiende Amolo, CAJ, Honorable Charles Nyachai, CIC, Agnes Odhiambo, COB, Dr. Lydia Nzomo, TSC, and Dr. Jane Kiringai, CRA. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the CCIOs have over time held events to exchange experiences, ideas, and take stock of progress made, as well as challenges made by the respective institutions. So far, we have held 7 annual conferences in the following counties: Kwale, Mombasa, Kisumu, Uasin Gishu, Meru, and Kericho. These rotational conferences were interrupted, unfortunately, by COVID for 2 years. In 2022, the CCIOs held a national 10th anniversary celebration at KCC under the theme Celebrating a Decade of Promoting Constitutionalism and Observance of Democratic Values and Principles by the Constitutional Commissions and independent officers. As we celebrated the 10 years, that was 2 years ago, under the new Constitution 2010, we reflected on the achievements and the milestones by the CCIOs and equally made observations on the challenges. And we observed common trends and concerns, and those common trends and concerns continue to hold. We looked at issues of independence of the constitutions and the interdependence of the constitutions with the other arms of government. We observed the overlaps, perceived or real, in the mandates between these institutions and the executive and the concerns around those. We reflected on the desires of Wanjiku in leading to the creation of these constitutional commissions and independent offices. We looked at issues of financing and the budgets. We looked at issues of budgeting processes. We looked at issues of engagement with the two levels of government and ensuring adherence to the constitutional tenets. We considered the issues of oversight and reporting to National Assembly. And in this context, Your Excellency, allow me to point out some of the salient issues. One of the main challenges that we observed then and continue observing are the constraints in resources to these institutions. Financial resources and unrelated resources, human resource, and so on. In the same vein, we also reflect and continue to reflect, and I hope we'll discuss this as we meet in the next 2 days, on the issue of the budget processes for the constitutions and independent offices. Your Excellency, I will observe, for instance, that whereas the Constitution contemplates that the institutions shall be answerable to the National Assembly in their budget-making processes, whereas some commissions and independent offices indeed present their budgets directly to Parliament, others do not. For instance, the National Commission in the Act, National Commission Act, is required to prepare and present its budget through the Cabinet Secretary. And some of the issues we need to address is the constitutionality of some of these issues. So again, we have seen over time issues, and these are continuous, of issues of apparent infringement on the mandates of various commissions, and these are continuous discussion. It's been there before. We need to continue engaging on it, and it will continue to be there. And we currently see this with regard to a number of institutions, and I think this will be a matter of discussion in the next 3 days. So, Your Excellency, as we retraced, in that forum, we retraced the journey of the CCIOs from 2012, and I'm glad that amongst us today and the next 2 days, we have presenters, panelists, distinguished previous chairs, holders of independent offices, and previous commissions as well, who have trodden that journey to share their experiences. At that celebration, we launched a compendium highlighting individual CCIO mandates, critical milestones attained since inception, challenges and aspirations of the next decade. Your Excellency, this retreat, therefore, could not have come at a better time for the CCIOs to reflect back, engage, and chart a way forward in realizing its aspirations as stipulated in the Constitution and attendant legislative framework. We are optimistic and confident that through these 3 days, we shall be able to develop an actionable framework of engagement that will usher in a new era of enhanced service delivery for the benefit of the people of Kenya. As I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to assure you of our continuous commitment to promote constitutionalism and observance of democratic values and principles. Further, we endeavor to support implementation of the resolutions that will emanate from this retreat. With those remarks, I take this opportunity to wish all of us fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, CCIO Chairperson. Your Excellency, sir, at this juncture, I wish to invite the Council of Governors Chairperson, who is also the Governor of Kirinyaga County, High Excellency Anne Waiguru.
Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Judiciary, Honorable Justin Muturi, the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretaries present, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, Control of Budget, FCPA Nancy Gathungu, Auditor General of the Republic of Kenya, Chairpersons, Vice Chairpersons, Commissioners of Constitutional Commissions present, the Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, the Deputy Governor David Kones of Nakuru, Principal Secretaries present, Chief Executive Officers of CCIOs, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today as a chairperson of the Council of Governors during this crucial retreat of the executive and the constitutional and independent offices in Kenya. This gathering presents a unique opportunity for us to strengthen the critical partnership that underpin the success of devolution in Kenya. Our Constitution enshrines devolution as a cornerstone of a more prosperous and equitable nation. It empowers counties to be engines of growth and development, directly impacting the lives of our citizens. However, realizing this ambitious vision necessitates collaborative efforts. I would like to therefore take this opportunity to express sincere appreciation for the invaluable role played by the various commissions and independent offices in entrenching devolution in Kenya. Your dedication, expertise, and commitment to upholding the principles of devolution have been instrumental in driving forward the vision of a more inclusive, accountable, and responsive governance system. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is, however, concerning that some of the constitutional commissions and independent offices have not fully embraced the vital principle of devolution, which is a cornerstone of our national values and principles of governance, binding all state organs to its objectives. This includes state officers, public officers, and all persons whenever applying the Constitution. We must call for a paradigm shift in this retreat, constitutional commissions and independent offices to wholeheartedly reconsider their approach and integrate a devolution lens into all aspects of discharging their constitutional functions. Only then can we ensure that all citizens experience the benefits of devolution and that this cornerstone of our governance structure is truly upheld. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, you are all indispensable in the integrity, efficiency, and effectiveness of government. I implore you, upon you, to generate actionable insights to orient strategy implementation by both levels of government so as to avoid risks and losses, enhance integrity and accountability, and improve governance controls. A decade into devolution, county governments continue to grapple with myriad challenges hindering effective service delivery. These entrenched issues include, but are not limited to, 1, financial of the Auditor General and control of budget has shown that county governments have faced persistent difficulties in prudent financial management and limited capacity for revenue generation, leading to missed revenue targets and inefficient utilization of resources. This calls for enhanced efforts to facilitate public financial management reforms at the county level. On revenue collection shortfalls, county governments consistently fail to meet their own source revenue targets, leaving them heavily reliant on equitable share allocations from the national government. This dependency, of course, compromises their fiscal autonomy. On centralization tendencies, there are continued efforts to claw back on devolved functions which undermine the spirit of devolution, creating conflicts and confusion over roles and responsibilities. On disputes on divisions of revenue, ongoing disagreements surrounding the equitable sharing of revenue between national and county governments creates delays and uncertainty in budget implementation. And on human resource management, persistent industrial actions by workers, especially in the health sector, has not only disrupted service delivery of crucial services, but also continues to erode public trust in our ability to address their needs effectively. Also, the management of the wage bill is a major concern in the counties. I therefore call for a renewed commitment from the distinguished members of the CCIOs to engage in open dialogue and collaboration. Let's together identify practical solutions to all these challenges and those that face the CCIOs directly, strengthening devolution's foundations for the benefits of all Kenyans, protecting and enhancing democracy, the rule of law, transparency, accountability, and a human rights culture. Ladies and gentlemen, promotion of sustainable intergovernmental relations between the two levels of government while respecting the function and institutional integrity and the constitutional status of either level is at the center of our governance. I urge the constitutional commissions and independent offices to support the two levels of government in achieving this. And while we do that, maybe this will be a great opportunity for all the commissions to go back to the first question of why the framers of the Constitution saw it fit to have independent commissions in Kenya. It is indeed because of our history. What were these commissions established to do? Why were they created independent of the executive? It's because Kenyans had a history of mistrust or expectations that had not been met, and therefore they said there are certain functions that they wanted to be carried out independently. For example, I was a Treasury official for a very long time, and before the Constitution, both the functions of budgeting, including the controlling of budget and audit, was a function of the National Treasury. But now, they are independent and they carry out their functions independently because Kenyans saw it fit that it should be so. The same applies for IPOA, for example. Why is it that violations that have been carried out by institutions of police were separated from that institution and put separately in IPOA? Is because of our history and what Kenyans had experienced. Similarly, the issues of integrity, EACC, and DCI. And therefore, mostly and affect most of us, which is budget, that you also consider having a conversation on why it is that the framers of the Constitution independent commissions. And then ask yourselves, are we carrying out that function as we ought to carry according to the spirit of the Constitution? or are we an appendage of the executive or the public? And the reason I say this, I'm constrained to say this, is because this week we had an uncomfortable exchange between some people from the council and one of the independent commissions, and it was very unfortunate. And there was a public conversation about how then, if you hold the office of an independent commission, how you should carry out that function. I think that is a critical conversation. How should you carry out that function? And I'll give the function, for example, of investigations, because it is very sensitive. Everybody assumes that politicians are corrupt, but there's corruption everywhere in this country, if you're honest with yourself, whether in the private sector, in the social sector, in the national government, in the county governments. And so how do you as independent commissions carry out that fiduciary duty within the spirit of the Constitution so that you give confidence to the public that indeed you're carrying it out without fear or favor? I think the experience of this week was uncomfortable, so to speak, for those of us who hold the office of governor, and for me, the office of the chair of Council of Governors. I'm constrained to mention it. So while we have a conversation about our financial needs and how to work together as interdependent and interrelated to achieve that mandate, I think it is also imperative as commissioners to also be established, and therefore for what and how then that mandate, so that we can have the confidence of the Kenyan public without prejudice or independence. Without prejudice and dependence. Maintaining harmonious working relationships amongst all levels and arms of government is essential to improve service delivery to citizens and foster a more prosperous and equitable nation. And we all say this, and for more politicians is more a reality. We're here for a season. We do our work, we do it to the best that we can, and then we pass on this country to be led by other people. There were 1,000 leaders before we were here. There will be 1,000 more after we are gone. And I think it is our responsibility as leaders to ensure that we bestow to the generations that come a better country. Is this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the principles of devolution and democracy, and redouble our efforts to overcome the obstacles that stand in our way. Together we can build a stronger, more resilient governance system that truly serves the interests of all Kenyans. As I conclude, let us all remain dedicated to constitutionalism and to the aspirations of all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of patriotism, national unity, sharing, and devolution of power, the rule of law, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized in Kenya. God bless you, and God bless Kenya.
Thank you, Chairperson of Council of Governors. Your Excellency, sir, just to acknowledge all constitutional commissions and independent offices present, we have the Teacher Service Commission present, Your Excellency. We have the Kenya Law Reforms Commission. We have the Public Service Commission, the Salary and Remuneration Commission, Commission on Revenue Allocation, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. We also have the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Your Excellency, present too is the National Land Commission, Commission of Administrative Justice. We also have Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. We have National Gender and Equality Commission. We have the National Police Service Commission, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Service Commission. We also have the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Independent Policing Authority. Part of the independent offices, we have with us Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. We have the National Police Service. choir organized later on this evening, where there will be further interaction with you hosting. Honorable Justin Muturi.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Her Lordship, the Chief Justice, Justice Martha Koome, and the Chair of Judicial Service, the Chairperson of the Council of Governors, Honorable Anne Waiguru, Chairs of Chapter 15 Constitutional Commissions and Independent Offices, the Chairperson himself, Honorable Otachi, CEOs of various constitutional and independent offices here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be part of this crucial consultative forum organized by the Office of the Deputy President. And notably, this forum exemplifies our commitment to fostering dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect among key stakeholders in our democratic governance framework. I would like to commend the Deputy President and his team for the foresight in convening this forum, in bringing together representatives from the executive and our constitutional commissions and independent offices. They have created an opportunity for meaningful exchange of ideas, sharing of best practices, identification of common challenges. Constitutional commissions and independent offices play a vital role, as has been already, upholding the rule of law, protecting human rights, promoting good governance, and enhancing. Indeed, that was the raison d'etre for their creation and inclusion in our Constitution. They were recognized as essential components of a democratic society and are crucial for ensuring that government institutions serve the interests of all citizens. In any democracy, the effective functioning of government relies on a delicate balance of power and a spirit of collaboration among its various branches. The executive, the legislature, and the judicial arms of government each play distinct roles in shaping policy, enacting laws, and ensuring justice. Similarly, constitutional commissions and independent offices serve as guardians of our democracy, entrusted with the critical task of upholding the rule of law, and the protection of human rights, and the promotion of good governance. For our democracy to thrive, it is not enough for these institutions to operate in isolation. Through meaningful engagement, dialogue, and cooperation, government, the constitutional commissions, and independent offices, and to add, as dictated by Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution, consultation and collaboration. Meaningful engagement requires a commitment to open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to listen and learn from one another. It means recognizing Ladies and gentlemen, over the years, Kenya has made gains in establishing and strengthening constitutional commissions and independent offices. However, they require the support of the executive. I'm pleased that today we are embarking on a new chapter of partnership and collaboration between the executive and the constitutional commissions and independent offices by developing their interaction. I know that one of the objectives of this consultative forum is to exchange views on the parameters of independence and interdependence. Finding the right balance between independence and interdependence is not an easy task. On the one hand, can lead to fragmentation, inefficiency, and a lack of accountability. And on the other hand, excessive interdependence can erode autonomy, undermine professional judgment, and create conflicts of interest. To navigate these challenges requires clarity of mandates, robust accountability mechanisms, and collaborative governance structures. As we exchange ideas on the parameters of independence and interdependence, let us remain guided by the principles of accountability, transparency, and respect for the rule of law. Let us find the right balance between autonomy and cooperation. The challenges facing constitutional commissions and independent offices in Kenya may be significant, but not insurmountable. By prioritizing adequate funding, safeguarding independence, raising public awareness, and fostering collaboration, we can support, strengthen these vital institutions and ensure that they discharge their mandates effectively. Plays a crucial role in upholding the rule of law, promoting good governance, and protecting the rights and interests of all Kenyans. Central to these mandates is our commitment to supporting and strengthening the institutions that form the backbone of our democracy, including our constitutional commissions and independent offices. As we look to the future, let me reiterate my unwavering commitment to supporting and strengthening our constitutional commissions and independent offices. Finally, I call upon all stakeholders to embrace the spirit of collaboration and partnership. Let us set aside our differences and work together in pursuit of our shared goals, rule of law and respect for human rights, and let us go forth from this forum we can achieve great things. I thank you, and God bless Kenya.
Attorney General, Your Excellency, sir, in the place of the Speaker of the National Assembly and joining us. As we proceed, Your Excellency, then, I wish to invite the Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, who is the Chief Justice and also the Chairperson of the Judiciary Service Commission, to make her remarks, and in turn, invite His Excellency, the Deputy President. Welcome, Honorable Lady Justice.
Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, my brother, the Honorable Justin Muturi, the Honorable Attorney General, Excellency of Governors and Governor of Nyeri County, our Chairperson of the National Land Commission and Chairperson of the Mr. Ngasho Notachi, my colleagues of the Constitutional Commissioners, Vice Chairpersons, Executive Officers of various Constitutional Commissions and independent offices, very distinguished guests this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. I'm honored to address you this afternoon at this retreat, and I'm grateful to Your Excellency, the Deputy President, for keeping your promise, and also I'm grateful to His Excellency, the President, for his foresight and commitment in fostering a collaborative relationship between the national government and the constituent offices. The establishment of a liaison point for the interaction between the different state institutions in our governance framework, as it addresses what need for a forum which gives us a structured dialogue, a structured platform for dialogue between our state institutions as we independently discharge our different mandates under the Constitution. I wish to commend His Excellency the Deputy President for your exemplary leadership for this forum, beginning with the inaugural meeting that was held on June 21st, 2023, and continuing with the present retreat. This ongoing dialogue epitomizes the constitutional mandate, which is a collective endeavor in the spirit of mutual cooperation and respect. The chairperson of and the Attorney General is one of unified enterprise. Of government. This forum exemplifies the required for each of the enterprise, emphasizing the importance. It is through this lens that we must approach the interactions between the executive and independent offices, fostering a relationship characterized by mutual. As we build upon the foundation set during the inaugural meeting, let us remain cognizant of our shared responsibility towards achieving the objectives of the Constitution. Our Excellency the Governor has reminded us to remind ourselves always to it is imperative that the state institutions uphold the spirit of mutual respect. These are the three words which will keep on coming up in the next 3 days. Or impede the functions of our counterparts. This principle for maintaining the integrity and efficacy. Equally important is the norm of mutual support. Institutions to facilitate the realization of our collective governance goals. This includes, among other things, ensuring adequate resource allocation to all state institutions, including constitutional commissions and independent offices, and supporting the effective execution of the mandates by the constitutional commissions. Your Excellency, the responsibility that we have also goes with accountability. The constitutional commissions and independent offices have been granted hence mandates and powers, hence the need for accountability. As they discharge these powers, we must ask ourselves whether we are sufficiently giving back for all the privileges and the powers that we enjoy. Are we delivering services to our people? And unfortunately, there is no clear oversight structure in place that ensures accountability regarding how constitutional commissions and independent offices carry out their mandates. That on 15th April 2014, that is about 10 years ago today, a 5-judge bench of the High Court delivered a judgment in versus the Speaker of the National Assembly and 4 others, and made the following pertinent observation and of our country, including through the introduction of no less than 12 new constitutional commissions and independent offices. Their number and the complexity of overseeing these new institutions with their new important yet diverse functions means that there is a need for Parliament to be innovative in order to efficiently carry out its oversight role over these new entities, so as to realize real benefits for the people of Kenya, and further, in order to facilitate better working relationship between organs of state that enhance performance of their respective constitutional mandates for the people of Kenya. The court made the following recommendations. 1, Parliament to consider establishment of a special committee within Parliament dedicated to oversight all the independent offices and commissions. 2, Parliament considers developing an appropriate structured oversight model that takes into account and facilitates strategic and structured scrutiny of state organs by advancing our constitutional democracy, enhancing service delivery, and recommendations were made by the High Court, or the need for the country to put in place a structured Committee of the National Assembly to undertake this role. However, this has not been done to date. It is time to be implemented to ensure that full spectrum of constitutional expectation of independence is realized with respect to the operations of independent Commission and independent office to come up with internal accountability mechanisms. For example, we've been discussing how we can come up with a mechanism for evaluation way as it is done by the state corporations, by the Inspectorate of the State Corporations and the State Corporations Advisory. There is nothing that oversights the constitutional commissions. And there's Judicial Service Commission, but I believe this is the best forum to come up with institutions and independent offices. With such a mechanism will enable us comply with the judge referred to. Your Excellency, at the Judicial Service Commission, we have also that guide us in every aspect of the mandate of the JED. Chapter 15 institutions, but we are also open and continuously learning. Recently, we invited the Public Service Commission to also come this shared responsibility. To conclude, Your Excellency, the collaborative approach envisaged in the Constitution is that what is expected is manner so that we are not sabotaging one another, but we are supporting one another. We must all strive and cooperation focused on mutual respect as expected in collaborative governance process. The AG has eloquently spoken about independence and interdependence, and that we will be able to navigate during this come up with a framework that can inform the public that no one institution can succeed if they work in a silo. But we must jealously guard our independence when we work together so that no one institution is compromised. It is through effectively address the challenges facing our nation and issues like they have been highlighted by my two colleagues will be discussed. We are working with each other and not sabotaging each other. Called the fire chat, where we can talk more freely and open up our hearts to His Excellency to hear the struggles that we go through and see the support that we can get to the people of Kenya. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Privilege to invite His Excellency, the President,
Thank you very much, Lady Chief Justice. Please sit down. The Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Lady Chief Justice Martha Koome, Cabinet Secretary is present, Chairperson of the Council of Governors, the Chairperson of the CIOs, Mr. Otachi, Chairpersons of Constitutional Commissions, representatives of independent offices, other leaders, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm pleased to join you today for this consultative forum between the executive and the constitutional commissions and independent offices. It is a demonstration of our administration's determination to strengthen cooperation, collaboration, and partnership with all state agencies as envisaged in the Constitution. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, delivering development as underpinned by the bottom-up economic transformation agenda requires input from all players. There is no development specifically for the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, or the CCIOs. We only have one development plan of transforming Kenya together. The executive values the work of the CCIOs in socio-economic development, especially in bringing balance through objective oversight. But a lame or struggling institution cannot check the excesses of the executive in the spirit of promoting transparency and accountability for public good. It will be prone to manipulation and interference in its decisions. President William Ruto has on a number of occasions said that constructive criticism of his administration will enable him to deliver better on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is a requirement for democracy, rule of law, and ultimately good governance. Joining you for this conversation, therefore, is a step towards vibrant CCIOs established on solid and sound structures in fulfillment of the Constitution. Indeed, at the end of this forum, we look forward to development and adoption of the framework of cooperation and engagement between the national government, the county governments, and the CCIOs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, while the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, constitutional commissions, and independent offices are autonomous in the discharge of their mandates, we converge on transforming the socio-economic lives of our single employer, the people of Kenya. On this basis, we have no choice but to partner and consolidate our program and project interventions on development. This will be achieved through creation of a complementary ecosystem as opposed to fractured and segmented approaches to development. Indeed, Goal 16 of Agenda 2030 underscores the importance of strong and effective institutions in building peaceful and inclusive societies. Such regular consultations are not only for receiving feedback, but also understanding our individual strengths and strategizing together. Our destiny is defined. We cannot afford disjointed strategies. On this note, I want to acknowledge the importance of CCIOs in data collection and reports at the various thematic areas. It will be more impactful when you align your strategic plans and priorities to the better plan. While we assure you of autonomy in your work, we encourage truth premised on objectivity and sanctity of data as opposed to alarmist subjective reports. This will help us make the necessary adjustments. Again, as directed by the Executive Order number 2, we are ready to work with you in implementation of recommendations of your reports. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are aware that one of the key issues that impairs optimal performance of CCIOs is limited funding. Past allocation in some cases have only made the basic operational needs of CCIOs as opposed to substantive projects and programs. When staff draw salaries without work, it is a short change to the taxpayer. There is no value on investment. In the current financial year, we have increased allocation of the CIOs as opposed to the previous financial year. Because we want to promote financial independence, we'll continue working with the legislature to ensure more funds to enable you implement programs complementing our development plan. This is alongside review of laws and other frameworks to strengthen your mandates. Progressive increment of funding is possible given that our economy has stabilized and is now on an upward trajectory. My office is ready to work with you as outlined by the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 and other frameworks that direct us to collaborate for efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we meet here today, terms of office for a number of commissioners in some CCIOs are ending soon. Such leadership gaps, if not addressed, will hamper discharge of the mandates of the CCIOs. While the law provides for the procedures of appointment of commissioners and other senior officers, we are ready to work with you in unlocking any possible delays to expedite the process through the requisite state agencies. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, wish to confirm and affirm the Executive's commitment to close working relations with constitutional commissions and independent offices. It is a requirement that we commit to fulfill. Let me thank you for your availability for this meeting. We value your feedback and look forward to an enriching conversation. It is now my pleasure to declare this consultative forum officially open. If I may just add 3 things. We'll be speaking more in the informal forum by the bonfire. The President in Executive Order number 2 established this coordination framework within my office, first and foremost, to give it the right gravitas because the presidency cuts across the whole government. And the purpose for this framework is to make sure that we work in a seamless manner. This framework, I want to request you to utilize it to settle disputes, conflicts, misunderstandings among ourselves. My office has tried to settle 3-4 conflicts, and I want to urge that it is not necessary for us to engage each other in the press, in the media. It's unnecessary because there exists a framework in the Office of the Deputy President for us to understand each other and engage. Our administration has adopted continuous engagement as the modus operandi of our governance. And the President and I believe that continuous engagement is good for any institution and is good for this country. When we found instances where independent offices and constitutional commissions are in conflict and they start an all-out war in the press, we confuse the people of Kenya and they get lost. Let us use this framework. Where there are issues, please let our office know so that we call you and we listen and we try to create a framework for engagement. We have had some nasty exchanges between the Office of the Attorney General and the Public Service Commission. It is unnecessary. Within this framework, whatever issues that are creating a misunderstanding between any office and another, we can settle. We have had issues between the Teacher Service Commission and the Ministry of Education. My office has put the two together and discussions are ongoing and we have made very good progress so that we avoid confusing the people of Kenya, where people who are supposed to work together to collectively deliver services, deliver justice, deliver leadership to the people of Kenya, we are fighting each other. We have had nasty exchanges that are necessary between the Inspector General of Police and the Police Service Commission. Over the press, we have put the two offices together, the Constitutional Commission, that is a Police Service Commission, and the Inspector General of Police, and already discussions are going on and we have made very good progress. We have had exchanges between the Controller of Budget and the Council of Governors. It is unnecessary within this framework that the President in his wisdom put together at the presidency, where the Council of Governors feels that probably the service delivery to the people who put them in office is being affected because of certain decisions the Controller of Budget has made. Instead of an all-out war there, please let us utilize this framework. And the Controller of Budget and the Council of Governors, we put them together and we can have a discussion. There has been issues between the National Treasury and the Controller of Budget. I want to appeal that this mechanism is available to all of us to be able to have a good discussion. We have had issues between the Parliamentary Service Commission and the Judicial Service Commission. where Parliament feels that the judiciary is encroaching on the independence of Parliament. And in many cases, we have taken each other to court. And the folly of it all is that when one of government takes another arm of government to court, both lawyers are paid by the public, the same public that we serve. We are here talking about limited resources. We are here talking about a very tight fiscal space. We are here saying we don't have money for development. We don't have money to buy you vehicles. Yet, court, you pay lawyers. They engage lawyers. But the one paying both lawyers on both sides is the same person, the people of Kenya. And it's not fair. It's very unfair to the people of Kenya that we are having a challenge in terms of revenue collection to get enough money to give services to the people of Kenya, to pay salaries, to make sure that every institution is fulfilling its mandate. Then, because we have a difference that is really not personal, I want to urge from this retreat that we all agree that it is not necessary for one office to take another to court and we hire lawyers to be paid by the public. I had a meeting with the KTDA and the Tea Board of Kenya, and some directors from KTDA took each other to court, and the lawyers are asking for 600 million, and this money will be paid by the tea farmers. Yet they were having leadership wrangles that have nothing to do with the tea farmer in Kenya. Yet, because they occupy public offices, it is those people who will pay. And I was telling the Attorney General, and it's something that we need to agree here and as a government, that many institutions have legal capacity. KTDA has lawyers that are paid at the end of every month, and they are competent lawyers. Yet, they go out there and get other lawyers from outside, and they commit public funds. So we'll be having a discussion that all those with legal capacity, they have no business going out there. I know that can put us in problems with the Law Society of Kenya, that we are denying them business. But what we are saying is, what is the use of you having a legal capacity? You have employed a corporation secretary with a legal department of 5-6 lawyers who are paid every month. And you employed them because they are competent. They are advocates of High Court. They are competent to go in court and defend the institution. Then you commit millions of shillings belonging to the taxpayer to go out there in court. So I want to urge this forum, those session, I asked him to come because I know most of you have challenges with resource allocation. Those who have problems, let us use this forum. It's a good forum. My chief of staff is on top of things. She has developed a capacity under this space to receive petitions, complaints, concerns against whoever within the public space. And we'll be able to put those people together. And I'm happy that when we did that between the IG and the National Police Service Commission, many things are going on that had a problem. We'll be asking the Controller of Budget to sit with the Council of Governors. We will create that framework, because sometimes the Council of Governors feels that their work is being hampered by certain decisions. When we talk to the Controller of Budget, he says, this is the law. But there is a middle ground where we can all sit down together and talk. And there is no harm in talking. I have said many times that the community I come from has a saying, that buffaloes don't move together in a herd because they necessarily like each other. No, it's because of the danger of walking alone. If you go to the Masai Mara during the wild beast migration, the beasts move in a very huge herd, and they never agree to be left behind. And the lions are just waiting for any one of them to be left behind. And the minute one of the animals have hurt its foot and is left behind, only 5 minutes, it is quickly taken away and it becomes meat. Let us work together. We don't have to like each other. It's not necessary. We have all been put together by the need to serve the people, and we serve the same people. The people the judiciary serves are the same the government of President William Ruto serves. They are the same people the parliament serves. They are the bottom line. And I think because of the people of Kenya, we can get synergy along the way and talk to each other. And there is no harm. And I have found when people sit together and talk, people are normally very reasonable. All the people in this room are very reasonable people. But when they don't talk, you stay in your own space and have your own views, you have your own way of looking at things, and because you have not had the benefit of listening to the other person, you take a prejudiced position. Let me plead that we use this forum in my office to solve all misunderstandings, all conflicts, all disputes. And I think it is possible because the few cases that have come to us, we have done. I have many complaints against SRC, as it should be. Yeah. But the SRC also needs to be given a chance to state their case. Let us not hang them without giving the benefit of explaining themselves. Red says that the rules of natural justice say no man, and woman for that matter, should be condemned and hard. I want to create a forum for all those who have issues with SRC. Come. And we talk. You know, the lady is there, she'll put up her case, and you put up your case, and we'll agree. The Parliamentary Service Commission is up in arms, and I've told Speaker Wetangula, we'll create that forum. Let the people from Parliament prepare all the quiz English and come and state their case. Let the good chairperson and her team respond. Somehow we'll make progress. Because I think it's good to talk to each other. We are all Kenyans, we serve the same people, and there is nobody who has any ill will against another. We are all serving the same people. So I really want to urge that this forum that the President created in the Executive Order number 2 of 2023 is a good forum. And we are ready, we have the necessary capacity to initiate dialogue and consultations among ourselves, with the government, with the Council of Governors, so that we don't confuse the people of Kenya when we tear each other in public. It is unnecessary, and I think most of the things, 80%, we can handle without having even to go to court. Finally, let me take this opportunity on behalf of the President, my boss, confirm that his administration has total and tremendous respect for independent offices and the constitutional commissions. You know, the first act of President William Ruto when he was sworn in office on 13th September in 2022 was to restore the independence of the judiciary. His first act that very afternoon was to gazette the judges who had been approved by JSC and had not been gazetted, and the following day they were sworn in, and I was there. So I remember. Because we respect independent institutions. Number 2 is to give financial autonomy to the National Police Service. The Inspector General of Police is the accounting officer of all monies given to the police, so that he is not controlled from anywhere else. Because there is a saying that he who pays Yeah? The piper calls the tune. So the police are independent. They have their own money to do what they want to do. The Chief Justice is here. She has a hotline. She can confirm that President William Ruto has never called her any day to rule, to have the judiciary determine a matter favorable to government. The judiciary has given many rulings that have made our life very difficult. But despite that, we respect the independence of the judiciary. And that is why we have even upscaled the budgetary provision to the judiciary to give them more funds to dispense justice to the people of Kenya. The president has never called the DPP to say charge so and so, don't charge so and so. The president has never called the Auditor General to say, I want you to order this or that report that has an indictment against one of my PSs. And that is the way it should be. And we'll continue to respect independent institutions and allow them to do their work. Where there are issues, we will reach out. And when we had a big problem with the judiciary, in our view, and we thought the judiciary was making it difficult for us to implement the plan, we are grateful that in the spirit of this framework, the Chief Justice and the JSC reached out, and we had a good conversation. Not to interfere with their independence, no, just for us to engage and raise our concerns. And they raise their concerns as well. And that is the way it should be. When we engage, it is not that any of us want to encroach on your independence. It is good for people to talk. Because when people talk, they clear things that can create a serious misunderstanding when it is not necessary. So I want to confirm that the executive will continue to respect independent offices, to respect your independence, and will continue to the extent possible to facilitate your work through provision of adequate resources. And where we have challenges in terms of giving you adequate resources, we'll create a forum to explain to you the challenges that we are facing. So we also, in the same manner, appeal to you also to facilitate our work, oversight government, criticize positively, suggest where we can do better, correct us where we are wrong, but of course with facts and with good intention, and we shall comply. We are more than ready. And I think we also want to be oversighted so that we can have good governance. Oversight is good, and we want to encourage. And that is why the president initiated a suggestion to Parliament that is now being worked on, that we create by law the office of the Leader of Official Opposition and fund that office staff and researchers so that they can put the government in check in a dignified manner. Instead of going to the streets, just go to Parliament and pronounce yourself on the issues you have a problem with the government. That is part of our desire to enhance oversight by making it institutional. And we are working on it, and we are supporting that so that the Leader of Official Opposition can sit in Parliament, can have offices, can have officers, can have researchers to do research so that when they criticize, they do so from a position of knowledge and with facts and figures so that we can become better people. So mimi nataka kusema asante sana. I look forward to a very, very, very fruitful engagement. And as I have said, we have created a very robust mechanism to create a mechanism for us to talk and agree on how to improve. And where we are encroaching on each other's mandate, we can be able to sort it out without us having to go to court and spend taxpayers' money. I think if we do that, the people of Kenya will be grateful that we are people who are prudent and we are responsible, and we are not spending public funds in matters that are necessary. And therefore, I look forward to a very, very fruitful engagement. I've heard what the Chief Justice has said, and I think in this conference we should have a follow-up where we'll ask Parliament to enact laws to create a mechanism to oversight the constitutional commissions. Because you are also oversighting others, you also need to be oversighted. You know, everybody can be excessive without oversight. It's true. Because you are also human beings and you are also Kenyans. So as you with the Chief Justice and that ruling that was made 10 years ago, we need also to engage Parliament to come up with a framework on how constitutional commissions are also oversighted for good governance and transparency, so that everybody is accountable to somebody. I think it's a good practice that everybody is accountable to somebody. And with those very many remarks, mimi natakia nyinyi mema. I look forward to the informal session later this evening, and I hope by that time we'll make sure the CS National Treasury is here and the other CSs. We are calling them so that we can also get to know each other and also raise those concerns here and there, and we'll see what can be addressed. But I want to say a lot can be achieved by people talking to each other. Just talking to each other, a lot can be achieved. When we don't talk to each other, we all assume many things. And let us engage. And I am sure by the time we leave here, since we are spending public funds, those funds will be justified. We must come up with resolutions that are actionable so that we also justify why we are here in this lakeside town on the taxpayers' account, because they are going to pay for the hotels and the food we are eating here. We must justify those funds because it's important. But if we come out here with no resolution, no actionable agreement, then we'll also have fallen into the same trap of misusing public funds. We must use public funds prudently. And for all the men and women in this room, we must justify the funds we are going to spend here to pay our bills. We must give something back to the people of Kenya. And one of them is not to hire lawyers to tear each other and then they are paid by the same public. That, we have a big problem with that one. And if you really feel that you have a shortage, the Attorney General is here. He can lend you some lawyers who are paid every month without having to incur extra money to the public. So, asanteni sana. May God bless you and bless you abundantly. I look forward. Asanteni.
It's your moment to click and follow. Share the video, friends. You are watching TMTV News. Visit our YouTube account, subscribe to advertise with the TMTV. You can call upon the number you see there, 0721-440-380. You are looking for a house to rent in Diani, Kwale County, Kunda. You're looking for a house to rent for an apartment. You can call upon our numbers, or you want to advertise your houses around. Maybe you have a land, a plot that you want to sell. Call upon our numbers and we shall schedule a viewing moment together with you. Kila siku tazama TMTV as we bring it down to your doorsteps. Kwale tunatazama.